Hello everyone. Someone I've talked about before on my channel is the streamer Denims. I've talked about why I think she's disingenuous, and why in general she's just a terrible content creator. Well, recently the YouTuber Rob's Media uploaded a video titled Content Nuke Denims, and it's exactly what you think it is. A dissection of everything Denims has done online, and man is it great. And since the video is 2 hours long, I figured I'd condense it down for your viewing pleasure. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe so that I can feed my starving family. As I said before, this video is very good, and it perfectly encapsulates all the problems people have with denims. Obviously, I suggest you check the video out since I can't include everything or we'd be here for days. But with that, let's get into it. And we're starting off strong with the fact that Denims used to be a Destiny orbiter. She used to orbit Destiny until some drama happened between the two, and now she hates his guts. Then later went on to try and interject herself into the revenge allegations around Destiny and basically lied about a bunch of the details involving her interactions with him to make herself look better about how her and Destiny fell out. There's even a leaked audio recording to prove this happened.
Incredibly creepy f***ing guy that is such a weird position in my community that's been trying to get me to stop talking to my ex-girlfriend because he's trying so hard to f*** her is now f***ing somebody else in my bed, dragging his f***ing hairy balls across my f***ing blankets.
And yeah, if a friend of yours basically brought over a stranger and fucked them in your bed, you'd probably not be cool with that either. So she threw her own experience alongside victims of actual revenge in order to try and make herself look good and dunk on Destiny. There's then a whole section on the content nuke, but we've covered that before, so I'm going to skip to the next section. The next section is all about how Denims will wish death upon people, but gets upset when people say the word retard.
You know what's really, really bad? When like the people you're fighting on the internet, the only two insults they have is arsler and I'm richer than you.
Which, yeah, is kind of a weird line in the sand.
This is a very gross portrayal of someone who is a trans woman. This is like hitting all of the common stereotypes, like trying to make them as quote unquote gross looking as possible or as manly as possible, whatever.
Nah, man, I think Keffels just kind of looks gross. No, I think she's just a gross person in general.
Pretty good breakdown as well. They're trying so hard to radicalize Americans. When you realize the obsession with Sydney Sweeney isn't about her tits, it's about the fact that she has blonde hair, blue eyes, is thin, and happens to have large breasts. American fascist. She is the perfect Aryan woman, which is why the joke is she has good genes. Like, there used to be a time where this just meant like, look her boobs. And now it's like,
These people will dig so far into stuff and make their own explanations for things. It's crazy. But then when you do the same to them, they act dumbfounded and like offended about it. It's just a crazy double standard. There's also quite a funny bit here about how she'll complain about how others act and demand they get banned, but meanwhile, she's wishing death on some people and celebrating the cancer diagnoses of others.
That it's in a very aggressive form of cancer, and group 5 means that.
Next is the section on giardia. Something I think most people agree shouldn't have been shared online, but people use this to try and claim that Ethan was abusing his children, which obviously isn't true. This was a mixture of Ethan being uninformed on what giardia is, and the fact these people actively want to harm him in any way possible.
And just so you guys know, everyone who's part of this circle knows Banapanada's a liar. They all know. Denims knows. I know Denims knows. She knows that I know that she knows. Hassan knows. Hassan knows that I know that he knows. Because back in the day, when Hassan used to be a little bit nice to me, he rejected claims from his chat that came from him. He was like, what, like a bunch of people in chat saying that Lorna Box was a phalangist, and Hassan would be like, no. And he knows this. We DM'd about this. We spoke about this.
Yeah, I think I said this way before. These guys are willing to do anything to get a win. It's like legitimately actually embarrassing. As Rob points out, after she signal boosted BS claims from Bad Empanada, she unlisted the stream VOD so we couldn't go back and look at it. And since this is a major point in an actual lawsuit, like I said, this is technically destroying evidence.
Floor.
The house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
I have no words. I have no words.
Why is she laughing at the thought that two millionaires don't live in a disgusting house? I'd be surprised if Ethan Klein's house was dirty. She also downplayed the CPS call, jumping through massive hoops to make it seem not bad. Which, no, I think everyone can agree was bad. There's no defending the CPS call. Unless you're Denims and you don't like Ethan Klein. There's also a section about the content nuke and how it was abysmal, but how Denims and a few others will still tout it as a great video when in reality, when people bring it up, they usually bash it. And that's because objectively, it was a terrible video. a terrible video that ruined Creator Clash. Denims actually ran defenses for Ian and Anissa after Creator Clash fell out. She tried to downplay the fact that they were taking 33% of the money by saying that they deserved to get paid, which, yeah, I think everyone can agree, obviously they deserve to get paid for running Creator Clash, just not 33% of all the money made. Denims is also mad that Ian's boxing coach shared a lot of details about Ian and Anissa. Most people found it funny. Denims fakes outrage over it. She also said that Ethan spread gossip about Ian and Anissa, which is exactly what she did with Bad Empanada's claims. Denims also compares YouTube drama content to the T dating app and just T in general, which is probably the worst thing she's done so far, in my opinion. The next big thing that happened is Ethan talked about potentially wanting to sue Denims. Denims instead tried to get ahead of that by trying to sue Ethan. Funnily enough, her lawsuit was built on bullshit by saying Ethan claimed she was the one who made the CPS call, even though he never did. She also claims random glup shittos in her chat are harassers from Ethan's audience.
Ethan will eat you alive. You don't have the money or intelligence to go anywhere with this. You know you're proving that he has pushed a harassment campaign against you.
It's driving me crazy.
When you type things like this, you're making it harder for him to win the lawsuit. You're like actually like an idiot.
So just word of advice, by the way, for anyone who wants to use the internet, don't do this. Don't respond when someone is obviously just rage baiting you. It literally never works well and only exacerbates the problem. If you can name me one instance where someone has like responded to obvious rage bait and it's worked out for them, I'd pin your comment, honestly. Like, I don't think it's ever happened.
To push a narrative that a bunch of streamers on Twitch are anti-Semitic and gets them banned for 30 days. People who have used their platform to has Ethan ever used this platform to fundraise for Palestine?
Ethan literally has. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the dono. Ethan Klein gave $6,500.
See, that's exactly it. Nothing Ethan does will ever be good enough. Because he calls you guys out on objectively bad things, suddenly he's the worst person on planet Earth. Suddenly he just wants people to die. Denims eventually canceled this lawsuit, most likely because she realized it wouldn't actually go anywhere. And while she did refund everyone, which is good, this lawsuit would ultimately bite her in the ass later on. Shortly after her failed lawsuit, Ethan filed his own lawsuit, which we covered before, against Denims, Casey Tron, and Frogan. And while Frogan has enough common sense to not say anything, Denims doesn't. She says stealing from wealthy people is totally okay. She interjects morality into it and ignores the legality, even though lawsuits are built on legality and not what is and isn't cool. Her defense for blatantly stealing content was because the content nuke wasn't worth engaging in. Which, as Rob says, why continue watching it then? That makes no sense. She also tried to call Ethan a misogynist.
This is what I mean when I say people like underestimate you all the time if they think that you're stupid for whatever reason, whether they think you're stupid because misogyny or whatever, it doesn't really matter the reason.
The reason, as he stated in his video, was because the three of you blatantly stole content and admitted you were doing it to take views from him. That's why he selected you three.
Denims has had to start up another GoFundMe, which still hasn't surpassed a third of its goal. In fact, it hasn't even surpassed the amount of money she made last time.
That's why I said before it was bad she did the lawsuit previously. Because now people are hesitant to give her money and it might potentially fuck her over if she can't make this GoFundMe deadline. It's to the point that Ethan fans are donating to Denims just so she can get dragged in court.
Woke up sick, and now I desperately need a submissive and breedable boy wife to nurse me back to health. Can we start a Milky's Monday trend on Twitter? I want to see some pics of guys with just the juiciest pecs today. That is too much to ask for.
Like, I don't understand how you could do shit like this. It's essentially exactly what Ian's wife is doing. There's a little bit more, and then a conclusion, and then the whole video is over. All in all, it was solid all around, and as I said, I'll be linking to Rob's video so you can check out everything I missed, but that is the ADHD version. So how do we close this off? I hate Denims. Not because she's a woman, not because of her race, not because of her being a Palestine supporter, but because she's just insufferable. She's genuinely one of the dumbest people on the entire platform of Twitch, and this is not a good person you want behind the Palestinian cause. As I said in my lawsuit coverage, depending on how that goes, I'll probably make an update video on that, but for now, that's all we got. Anyway, sorry if this video seems a little rushed, by the way. I'm currently in the process of moving, so that's fun. But I should be relatively done in the coming days, so content will resume as normal. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I don't know, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe, I guess. It'd be pretty cool. Anyway, I don't know. Later.